Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. Let's have a look at the Philips CDI. It's not a system I know much about. It's definitely something I heard of. Now, this is a very early work in progress version of the core, and I wanted to show you these parts here. So I'm launching Hotel Mario, I think the name of the game is, and you can see that those kind of graphical, I don't know what to call them, imperfections there, but hey, you know what? It boots up and it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon from like back in the 80s or 90s, right? So this is Hotel Mario, and yeah, the best thing about this game is pretty much the intro. So what exactly is this? So this is being developed for the MiSTer FPGA, an FPGA core of the Philips CDI by a developer called Slamy. And their notes over on GitHub about this says CDI MiSTer, a repo dedicated to create an FPGA implementation of the Philips CDI to be usable for the MiSTer project. This repository is very experimental, use at your own risk. And you know what, guys, I am using this at my own risk. The first milestone of having the boot ROM usable is reached. The startup menu can be used with a gamepad. It requires no CDIC to function. The second milestone will be working CDIC, which can read CD data and play homebrew games. So guys, in a nutshell, this is CDI. Now, it's not something that I've really played or enjoyed ever in my life, but you know what? There's people out there that may have had this console. I have to say, the Mario game isn't great by any means, and I think Nintendo allowing their characters to be licensed by other companies and what they got in return is probably what stopped Nintendo licensing like their characters out to other like manufacturers or game makers out there. This Mario game is nothing special. I'm really interested in any of you guys out there that actually had this hardware, or do you still have this hardware? Did you enjoy this game? Like the controls, okay, the jumping kind of feels alright. I didn't realize until after that you could jump on the Goombas. I thought, let me jump over them, but I did later on in the video try and jump on them. Where you saw I just died there, I went to the edge, so I jumped all the way up to the top, and I thought if I go to the edge, I'll fall down and maybe I can swing down. But no, when you go to the edge, you die. Is this core worth trying? Well, you know what, guys? Why not? If you want to experiment with stuff, you have your MiSTer FPGA, you like trying out systems that you're unfamiliar with, or maybe a system you are familiar with and you want to try it out. It's fun. I have to send a special thank you out to my buddy Terminator 2K2, who kind of helped me settle this up. He gave me all the instructions, told me where to put everything, and just made the whole process easy for me. If not, I'd be researching it for like an hour or two just to get everything that works. Now, I did try a few games on there. This is one of them. We'll have a look at the other games we tried, and the levels of success kind of varied. The next game I wanted to try, well, you're going to see it here, was Dragon's Lair, because even though this was like a, what is it, like a quick time event game, it looks really, really pretty. And this is what I was getting. It was kind of having the splash screen up, but then, you know, I'd get like something like this, and then it would just freeze here. It didn't go any further, but this is the fun part of trying out these cores. You don't know what you're going to get. I didn't look at any sheets, any compatibility trackers. I just went and I picked a few random games and I thought, you know what, I'm going to run with these. The degrees of compatibility vary. Where Dragon's Lair kind of crashed onto like a white screen, well, Laser Lords over here kind of goes into the game, and then once you get to this part, it just goes out to a black screen, and then that's it. You don't get any further. But again, I don't know what it is. I kind of enjoy testing this stuff out. I don't know what I'm going to get. I absolutely love and adore Tetris. Well, honestly, who doesn't? I originally got into Tetris on my Game Boy DMG, and I've played it on various different machines after. So when I saw a version for the CDI, I was like, I have to try it. Now, I have to say, Tetris is Tetris, right? I always have love for it, but I don't like this version of the game, man. And there's a reason why, right? So you've got your controller and you've got two buttons, right? You would naturally think that one button would rotate clockwise, the other button would rotate anti-clockwise, right? But in this one, no. Or you would think like, okay, with modern Tetris games, you know, down will make your block go faster, up might do a hard drop. Okay, so in this one, you've got left and right, which moves your block. Up and down don't do a single thing. One button rotates in the clockwise direction, and the other button just brings your block down really, really fast. So the reason that I'm doing really bad at Tetris, I'm not the greatest at Tetris, but I'm definitely not the worst, is because I'm trying to rotate. I'm pressing the other button to rotate the block, but all of a sudden it comes smashing down. However, if you can get used to that and that flickering at the bottom doesn't bother you, you can have a nice, kind of like a natural mellow background, and you're playing Tetris. Tetris is Tetris, right? There's a million different ways of playing it. There are so many different versions out. There's some excellent like homebrew Tetris versions out, some excellent ROM hacks out. This isn't the definitive version by any means, but it was Tetris, and you know, I had to try it. But guys, I really can't get over the fact that there's two buttons, one rotates and one just slams your block down. No matter how much I try and adjust to it, my muscle memory will just normally go to that drop button as a rotate button. Let's finish up with Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon. Now, you've probably noticed, and if I haven't said it already, this chord doesn't presently have sound. I could make sound effects like, hey Zelda, where are you? Oh daddy, I want Link. I can't actually keep up. That was terrible. Please don't unsubscribe. But guys, this is a Zelda game. And the best thing about this, just like the Mario game, is like the FMVs, the cartoons at the beginning, right? You know, when you're a kid, you see these cartoons, you're like, wow, they look good. I'm digging this, right? But that honestly is the best thing about it, because once the game starts, the game is absolutely pants. It is pony. It is terrible. In fact, I'd even go as far as saying, I think I prefer the Mario game over the Zelda game. So how's that? So the CDI was made by Philips, and Sony had some involvement in there. To talk a little bit about the console itself now, it was kind of manufactured, it was kind of tailored as like an educational kind of device to give you some kind of education, right? But it's ultimately remembered for its gaming contributions, right? Which, to be honest, aren't really that many. So when I'm over here, right, going back over to what you're seeing on screen, I'm trying to figure out how to play this, and I'm moving my way around the map till eventually I find an area that I can go into, a town. And when I go in there, it turns into a side scroller. And you look at it and you think, okay, for the time, the graphics are kind of all right. But guys, the gameplay is just pony for this, man. Up is the jump, you're attacking with your sword. The animation's not great. But guys, I'm not criticizing the core. I'm just criticizing the actual games and the games that were made. From a preservation point of view, right, and a preservation perspective, it is brilliant to get this stuff coming over to MiSTer, right? There's definitely a fan base, even though it'll be very, very small, there'll be people out there to like it. And I love new systems coming over to the MiSTer. Doesn't matter if they're good, doesn't matter if they're bad, doesn't matter if they are ugly. I just like all this stuff being preserved, because, you know, it's important to check this stuff. When you want to have a look at every single Zelda game, well, you're going to have to include this, right? It doesn't matter. It came out for a system. It probably wasn't well received at the time either, but it is a Zelda game. So yeah, man, a big shout out to Slamy for the awesome work he's doing for gaming preservation. MiSTer Project is absolutely awesome. But guys, I am going to end the video here. Be absolutely awesome to one another. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then you know what? A subscription and a like is super duper appreciated. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.